Welcome back to Melodic Memories of Light's Monarch. I'm Casey, and today there's actually quite a bit to talk about. I know there's some new releases and whatnot, but I'm not going to focus too much on that. I'm still snoozing on them. My apologies. But there is one new release that I do need to talk about because I've actually listened to it and I have opinions. And mind you, it's been out since Friday. For those that don't know or didn't read the title, I'm sure I'll probably put her name in it somewhere, at least the name of the album. Taylor Swift, The Life of a Showgirl. That just came out on Friday, and I've got some opinions, but before I get into that, I must talk about my trip that I just went on with my buddy Paul to Edmonton. Those that listened to the last episode will know. I was out in Edmonton for the Korn concert. Now, those that don't know, let me catch you up to speed just the littlest bit. I went out to Korn to see them live, the metal band Korn, or new metal, whatever genre you want to put them under. They've done dubstep as well. I brought my buddy Paul, as he's been on many a trip with me when it comes to concerts. He's definitely my concert buddy, if I had to pick one. I have multiple, granted, but the one that's been to the most concerts with me, most certainly him. Anyways, I took him to the city, if you will, to Edmonton to see Korn live. And he's seen them once in Dawson Creek. Those that don't know, it's a place in BC. And when he's seen them, they just released their dubstep album. The one that they had a lot of songs with Skrillex on. No idea if Skrillex toured with them, probably not. But I wasn't there, I didn't see them then, and he said he was really disappointed. He clarified, by the way, I know in the last episode I said he mentioned that album sucked. He clarified and wanted me to fix what I said. It didn't suck, it just wasn't Korn, if that makes sense. It wasn't what he wanted. And luckily this time around, for Korn themselves, this whole tour, the Canada tour, Canada with a K, because it's Korn, of course, they actually did a really good job on playing a lot of the greatest hits, because that's what it felt like. It felt like it was a greatest hits set list. And mind you, some people might be a little upset about that. I'm sure most people weren't, though. Paul himself was saying that he wishes they would have played maybe a few new ones, because there was nothing from the new album at all, but they still played a lot of bangers, and I actually have the set list here that I wanted to read out. As they opened up with Blind, went into Twist, Here to Stay, Got the Life, Clown, Did My Time, Porno Creep, Shoots and Ladders with a snippet of One by Metallica, Cold, Coming Undone with a snippet of We Will Rock You by Queen, that was actually kind of cool, Twisted Transistor, Adidas, or Adidas, Dirty, Somebody, Someone, Y'all Want a Single, and then their encore after they came back from being off stage for what felt like maybe a minute, if that, was For You, Falling Away From Me, Divine, and of course, the banger that everybody knows, I don't think that anybody doesn't, was Freak on a Leash. Of course, they have to play that one. I think it's like a requirement for Korn to play that. I feel like if they didn't, people would be kind of upset. Granted, take that with a grain of salt. I don't actually know. That's just me putting my 2 cents in where I don't know. But Korn, what a good show. Like, I didn't know what to expect because, again, I'm not a fan of Korn. At least before this, I wasn't. I just knew them to be a band that a lot of people have very strong feelings for. And a lot of people do really enjoy them. And I understand that. And I also knew that they dealt with a lot of drugs. Because, I mean, the singer and I'm sure every band member in that band probably had a drug addiction at some point, just kind of came with the territory of the time. And as sad as that is to say, luckily they are all clean now, and at least for my knowledge, and they put on a really good show. I always kind of thought their music gave very the vibes of, like, granted, please take this with a grain of salt, because I didn't really listen to them before. I always kind of thought of them to be a band of drug users, like people that would listen to their music while, like, shooting up or something. And that sounds terrible, because it is. It's a bad way to judge, and I don't even mean to. It's just what I thought, and I'm being honest about that. As to where I found out and realized very quickly that that's not what they are. Maybe they have some silly songs here and there that are just kind of nonsense. like Chutes and Ladders, like literally that's a bunch of nursery rhymes together. The fact they played that live was hilarious. Paul and I were dying. But it was just kind of like, it was a realization of realizing that they are way, way more than that. They hold a lot of depth. Like, granted, yes, most of their songs are either, silly, angry songs, or they're very depressing, sad ones. But they stand up for the outcasts, same way Black Veil does, just in a different way, different font. They've dealt with bullying their whole lives. At least this is going off what Paul's told me. Because he's followed them for his whole life, pretty much. His whole career, anyways, Korn's career. And to know that they are a lot more than what I gave them credit for was beautiful. And obviously it's up to me to not paint them with such a broad brush and actually dive in. And that's why I wanted to see them. I knew they were legends. I just didn't understand why. And now that I understand why, fuck, was it ever cool to see them live. Like, what a good show, a good performance. They didn't disappoint me at all. And luckily, on the way down to Edmonton, we were able to listen to not only their greatest hits album, Volume 1, that they have on Spotify, but we also listened to the playlist that they made on Spotify as well as their, I believe it was Essentials or the Essential Korn. And then we even also listened to the Essential album, which is a compilation album that we found on Spotify as well. So it was a bunch of Korn that we were able to listen to all the way down, and it made for a really good trip. It went by way too quick because it was just the day of the concert and then day following coming back. But what a good time. Korn, I cannot state enough that they surprised me. They put their all into the show, at least I felt like they did. And to see it in person, because I don't think I ever would have if it wasn't for Paul, because I was just trying to give him a birthday gift that I knew would make up for something he was really disappointed with way back in the day, like when he got to see them around, 2011? I guess that album came out, 2012. And I'm not even a fan of them. I wouldn't have went otherwise, and I'm so happy I went, because it wasn't just Korn. Gojira was also there. Not to mention also, honorable mention to the opener, Loathe. I don't know many of their stuff. They're very much a metalcore act, but they're from the UK, and they got a lot of support. Like, people were cheering them on and being very supportful of them. So it was really cool to see just a band that I didn't even know was on the set list, being Loathe, actually killing it. And just, I mean, it was a little bit weird that they're making people mosh pit and circle pit to the like a really slow song, but I mean, each to their own, man. Like, it's their song, their music, they know what they want from their crowd, and they killed it. And then for it to go to Gojira. Now, Gojira, both Paul and I don't know much of. Paul knew more than I did. He knew the whale song, whale noises, I think it's called, and maybe a handful of others. Me, all I knew of Gojira was they were a metal band that somehow made it to the Olympic stage and played at the Paris Olympics. And I got to see that performance online, which was really cool. They played that song that night as well. They played it live. I got to actually see it in person, and it was really cool. Amongst their whole set, they were way heavier than I thought they were going to be. But again, I didn't know what I was getting into at all. So Gojira, along with all of their use of pyro, because both Gojira and Korn used quite a bit of pyro. Korn used more so lights and lasers, but Gojira for sure used a lot of pyro. It was cool. They put on a really good show, and I don't know many of the names of the songs. I know the set list, which I can read out here, of course, but as for like the song names, I haven't really gotten the chance to go and dive into the whole thing yet, because I just haven't. I haven't gotten to dive into their discography the same way I did with Korn. But I was very impressed, and I can't stress that enough. As for Gojira, though, they ended up playing Only Pain, The Axe, Backbone, Stranded, Flying Whales, The Cell, Born for One Thing, Another World, which was my favorite, Silvera, Mea Culpa, and Amazonia they ended with. And the reason, to let me specify, Another World, it's definitely, I don't want to say it's their best song, because I am completely uneducated on their music. I just loved the message it had, because before they came on stage, or rather, before they played it while they were on stage, they opened up the song by saying this is a song just wishing we were on another planet, another world, an escape, because of how shitty the world is right now and what everything and everyone is going through. And the moment they said that, the escape thing, I just gravitated toward it 110%. I love music that is meant to be an escape, and I know that song, it spoke to me. I really enjoyed it amongst their whole set. And again, Loathe, so I don't, not mention the songs they played. Let me read it out here. They played Revenant, Aggressive Evolution, Dance on My Skin, Screaming, 451 Days, New Faces in the Dark, Heavy is the Head That Falls with the Weight of 1,000 Thoughts, Gifted Every Strength, Is It Really You, and Gourd. Again, both openers did amazing jobs. Gojira was definitely a highlight for sure. But again, Korn, they killed it. And I'm glad that Paul thought so too. He had an amazing time. He said it lived up to what he was hoping to see them the first time. And they played a lot of his favorites too. So it was just hilarious Chutes and Ladders. I didn't expect that, because I looked at Paul, I'm like, would they play this live? And he's like, nah, it's popular, but nah, I don't think so. And they did. It was a funny moment. It was definitely a funny moment, and a good moment to just be able to share with one of my best friends. So, Paul, doubt you're listening, but I'm glad you enjoyed, and Korn was a good fucking time. Enough said on that one. A very good trip overall, the way there, the way back, and also, since being back, I was able to kind of gear myself up for not only unboxing something, which is going to be on my YouTube channel if you guys are loving 21 Pilots and their new album Breach. Go check out my YouTube at Lights Monarch this Wednesday, October 8th at 10 a.m. Mountain Standard Time, or Mountain Time, Mountain Daylight Time, regardless, that time zone. I'm going to be releasing an unboxing of Breach. All of the different variants I have, except for one, because one is for my buddy Noah, who came to the tour with me. Just need to give it to him still, because he has been away actually seeing his own concert, being Hailstorm. So I hope he's having a great time. I wanted to go with him. Wasn't able to get the time off work, unfortunately, but I've got Breach unboxing coming this Wednesday at 10 a.m. Mountain Time. Be sure to go follow me, subscribe at Lights Monarch on YouTube. It'll be there. Give it some support. I would very much appreciate it. All that to say, though, later in the week, that Friday, I was able to go to the theater and see the Taylor Swift movie. Don't know how else to really put it other than that. The Life of a Showgirl movie. She went over the premiere of the brand new music video for the lead single, The Fate of Ophelia, and went, in depth. A bunch of behind the scenes, a bunch of lyric videos as well, to every single song. And a bunch of behind the scenes on those songs, which I very much appreciated as a Swiftie. But my first listen to the album, which was the Thursday at 10 p.m., as we get things released then, I was able to actually listen to the album, and this is when it comes down to my first listen thoughts. And I'm going to read them out because I wrote a big long paragraph because I was very conflicted. I can't say disappointed fully, but if anyone has listened to the new Taylor Swift album, especially Swifties, because I know most people can't stand her music or they have very strong opinions towards it, I adore Taylor Swift. I love her music, and it's something that's helped me through my life, specifically modern life, like a few years ago kind of thing. She was my crutch for a long while, and I know I've had that with a lot of different bands, but Taylor Swift, not only that, before I even listened to her very heavily, I always respected. Very much respected for just her love of music, of the arts, and just, being a poetic writer within a sea of pop music, which sometimes isn't very poetic. And in that sense, I have to say she let me down this time. I know it's not my place to say, oh, she should make this kind of music, oh, she should be able to say these kinds of things. But looking back at the album now that it's been out a couple days, I haven't listened to it much at all because, again, I'm trying to process my proper thoughts without just like getting overhyped with it all. I just have to say that there was bits and pieces of every single song that she put on this album that I really enjoyed. And then bits and pieces of every single song that she put on this album that I really didn't. And the biggest part of it is the lyrics. The lyricism, Taylor Swift, what happened? Like, what? I just have to ask that question. What happened to make it sound the way it did? What made you choose the words that you chose? And I know those are answers that we'll never get, or those are questions that we'll never get answers to, because unless if someone's able to go up to Taylor Swift and ask her herself, and she actually respects the question and just doesn't tell you to go away, I don't think we'll ever get that answer. And it's so popular, it's already sold something crazy like 2.7 million units pure within the first day from all the pre-orders, which is nuts. I heard that Poets, her last album before, it only sold 2.6 million within the first week. Not the day. Like, day of release, that's insane. Like, insane numbers. So it's been doing insanely well. And I mean, I'm a part of that cause. I bought the album on CD with the cardigan, and I also bought it with the new tracks that she posted just recently, the 4 new CDs. And yeah, I might be a part of the problem in that sense, but when it comes to bonus tracks, I'm a sucker. I'm sorry. I want to hear them. I know I could go to YouTube, but all the same, one of the songs that are my favorite off of this album, she ended up doing a special version for, which I will get into when I describe everything. But to get back on track, she released a lot of different versions, and I even was able to buy one on vinyl from her web store to have one of the different variants. And I didn't buy all of them. I'm not that nuts. I have a lot of her records, and I was kind of into collecting them. Definitely not doable, though, when she releases like 28 different variants. I know I can't complain about that, though, because if you want it, you want it, you'll buy it. If not, you don't have to worry about it. It's not for you. And that's kind of my mindset towards it. It might be a little out of touch. It might not be the most best kind of practice with the economy we live in, the world we're currently dealing with. But, I mean, she's a businesswoman. At the end of the day, this is her business, this is her job, her livelihood. And she's able to do it. She's making it work. She made that many sales, regardless if you like it or not. It's the numbers. But all that to say, I do want to read out my first initial thoughts, because I wrote them down, and then kind of touch on what, if anything, has changed, or maybe kind of clarify things as I'm reading. So bear with me, there is a little bit to get through, but my first listen thoughts were, not what I wanted, but all the same, kind of what I expected it to be. A fun album where lots of the songs are vibes, but the lyrics, they leave some to be desired. Lots of explicit lyrics, which is fine if they felt necessary, but they most certainly didn't, at least not a lot of them did. Alongside not just explicit lyrics, but very modernized slang. Like, just for an example, girl bossed too close to the sun, or I'm not a bad bitch, this isn't savage, or the thing that she says, I think I even wrote this part down, about having a bigger dick than the devil. I know it's metaphorically, but still. And also, wood. You were the key that opened my thighs. Like, just a lot of the lyrics were a little off. But again, let me continue here. Also, more sexual than I think she's really ever been, at least forwardly sexual. She's always had the themes, but this is the first time she's been straight up about it. Neither are exactly a detractor, but caught me off guard and felt like kind of cringy in moments when the lyrics lacked, as these aren't what I look for in music and art. But for the things that I did like about this album, I very much love that you can hear that she's happy and that it's fun. Again, let me clarify the lyric part. I love artists that have depth, and Taylor Swift, even those that don't believe she does, I'm a firm believer that she does have depth in certain songs. Not all of them have to be fucking Picasso or, some like majestic thing. She has that in her catalog, though. She is a poet, and that's why she had a literal album called The Poets Department, regardless of if you liked it or not. I personally liked it a lot. There were some songs on it that I wouldn't say are my favorite, but for what it was, I appreciated it. And along with her old music too. And I get it, it's different. She isn't heartbroken anymore. She's happy, and that's what I say. She sounds happy in it. Like, there's so many songs that are just love for the sake of love. And granted, even if it is presented in a sexual way or different way than what I was kind of hoping it to be, it's not up to me to choose that. That's just the way she's choosing to describe it, and if that's so, then it's so. But regardless, let me continue. She's in love, and that shines through all of my gripes and complaints, or at least I make it try to. I was very surprised, though, at the twist that Ruin the Friendship gave, and the Life of a Showgirl title track was shockingly good. I'm somebody that doesn't really love Sabrina Carpenter. Hot take, I guess, but maybe not. I know a lot of people really like her. And personally for me, I have nothing wrong with her. I don't dislike her either. It's just she's not my cup of tea. She's not really something that, or someone that I go to listen to, and never have. And again, it's down to the lyrics. She doesn't really make songs, at least in the modern Sabrina Carpenter music that has been popular. I haven't really heard any lyrics that are thought-provoking or artistic. They're just very much modern slang, modernized, modern pop, which is exactly what this album is. And I feel like a lot of people weren't expecting just that, even though I was hoping for more, but it was kind of what I was expecting. But again, for Ruin the Friendship as well, just to clarify that, I didn't expect it to twist like that at the end. I thought it was just a song about her being like really, I don't even know how to explain it. Just her being like, don't worry about hurting people. Just do it because it's what you want. And then the ending of the song came, and I was like, oh, never mind. Never mind. It is a sad one. But again, Sabrina didn't add anything to the song, in my opinion, but it was good nonetheless. And the end of it with the Eras Tour audio really made it a special ending. I understand why there's no more tracks, and I hope that doesn't change. Granted, we got more tracks now. They aren't necessarily more tracks, but they're different versions of old ones. That I will accept, but if she was like, yo, here's a deluxe version at 2 a.m. like she did with the last one, I'd be like, Taylor, come on. But whatever. More music isn't a bad thing, but at the same time, it doesn't mean it's a good thing either. She just was very adamant on saying that this is her album that she's wanted to make for a very long time. And people should keep that in mind, that she's very proud of this one, as every artist is proud of their new work. But she also mentioned how there isn't any other tracks, and I really hope that stays true, and she's honest about that. Maybe down the line we'll get more tracks like a year from now because she's made more since then, but I hope that's what it is and not something that she's like, oh hey, it's been a week, here's more songs, If that is what happens though, I don't know, people are showing a lot online that they're getting a little tired of it. Not so much the new music, but just in the business practice of it all. But again, to continue, my favorite track was Opalite, which stays true to right now as well. I don't think that's ever going to change, but yeah, my favorite track was Opalite, with my two runner-ups, top three if you will, which this hasn't changed either. Opalite, Elizabeth Taylor, and Honey. My least favorite was most certainly Father Figure, which I would have to say still is very true. I just really can't get past the dick lyric. But I have a ranking at the end of this just to let you know, because after I settled with it and listened to it a couple times, and after the movie theater experience, I've kind of ranked them. And as for Honey as well, that being my top 3, it's such a simple song, but I love it. It's very simple, very sweet. All that to say though, my least favorite was most certainly Father Figure. I'm sorry, Taylor, but singing about how you have a big dick or bigger one than Satan, the devil, even if just metaphorically, to the backing track of a George Michael's song you sampled, I understand why they felt the need to release a statement of support, because I know I would have questioned it big time, but it's just not your best work. Also, to throw in, she sampled a lot on this album. I was very surprised, especially for being an artist that doesn't like other people sampling her music, or at least that's how it comes off as sometimes. I don't know. Was surprising. Anyways, not your best work, and may I say, probably my least favorite song of yours I have heard to date. And that's saying something. Again, I don't think that still stands true. It does have a vibe to it. I do love the message of the song Father Figure. I just, again, can't get past the lyrics and the fact that that dick line is a part of the chorus. I know some people love her being unhinged and just being goofy like that. I didn't appreciate it. She's had songs where she's sang about this kind of material, about having been that in that position and being the man, if you will, in different songs. Like, I think My Tears Ricochet was about like her losing her music and all that. Now she's finally gained it. She's just said so much in much more artistic ways in past about the same stuff, you know, like the same content. So it just kind of threw me off a little bit. But I mean, how can you say the same thing over and over again and just expect people to like want it? So I get it why she changed it up, but at the same time, like, it could have been so much more poetic. But all that aside, almost seemed the middle of the album for me was hit or miss. But the beginning and end were solid. Though the fate of Ophelia took me until the bridge to enjoy it and for it to properly hit, I think that the bridge made the song. And I'm looking forward to some more listens and really sitting with this album, as the sounds of it are diverse. And I know it was the one that made my eyes go big with some of what she was saying, or at least I think it was that song, which it most certainly was. Something about opening her thighs. Yeah, and being like dickmatized, I think she says. Very interesting choice, Taylor. Uh, Good on you, though. Good on Travis for... I don't need to know, you know? I don't need to know that his dick's huge and it makes you wet. That's just me, though. That is just me, though. I'm sure some people appreciate that, I guess. And I understand about bragging, but I feel like she used to be so much more reserved. And maybe it's because this man, Travis Kelce, has given her so much more confidence and just assurance in herself in being able to be this way. And maybe she's always been this way. She just hasn't had that confidence. I don't know. I really don't know. But it caught me off guard big time. I need to sit with this all more to be able to remember exactly what the songs were that didn't instantly stand out, but I digress. With its Jackson 5 vibes to Cancelled with its almost edgy rock vibes, very Reputation, to everything in between from sparkly pop to edgy pop, or whatever you'd call that yelling kind of singing that she does in Actually Romantic. It's something I don't believe I'll ever call my favorite album, but one I hope to enjoy more with time. And I look forward to gaining more context at the theater tonight, in which I'll be adding another bit to these notes, and hopefully with more warmth to the ones I didn't particularly enjoy. All that said, though, every song instrumentally was a vibe, and Taylor's voice sure has reached its unique and particular sound. I love that she's happy. The biggest issue for me was more so the content of some of the songs lyrically. Otherwise, solid release, and I already know, with no doubt in my mind, that she's going to be taking over the pop world again with this one. And honestly, with the content and vibes, I think it's going to do very well commercially. It's going to be a success, and I highly doubt I'd be wrong in saying so, as it's no secret. She is a mastermind. She did this all on purpose, and I think we can't be too shocked at how it turned out. Even if some Swifties were wanting more, such as myself, it is what it is. I am very conflicted with this album. I do think it's very enjoyable. It is a vibe, as I mentioned. Every song sounds good, even if the lyrics aren't up to par. And that's just with her old content. That's referencing her old stuff. And I know people will have their theories of like, oh, she made this album bad on purpose, or oh, it's satire, whatever. And maybe that's the case. But I feel like that's a little bit too much of copium for me to really fall behind, because Why would you make an album bad on purpose? I know 21 Pilots did something similar with Scaled and Icy, but they didn't make it bad on purpose because it's not a bad album. Some people will say it is, but that's not what they were going for. It was propaganda. It wasn't a bad album on purpose. It wasn't satire. This album, I could believe it, but with how authentically happy she sounds in it about Travis Kelce specifically, because it most certainly is his album, I don't think it is. And granted, that's my opinion, but I enjoyed the song and album for what it was, all of it, but I just wish it could have been a little bit more. Like, it's not going to be my favorite. I don't see myself having it on repeat. I'm not going to go out of my way to collect all of the variants. If she releases more on CD that have extra tracks on it, maybe. But at the same time, I already bought 4 of them, so I don't really need them at this point. It's just going to be a wait and see kind of thing. I'm looking forward to her upcoming appearances on late night shows. As I'm uploading this, probably after I'm done uploading this, it's a Monday, I believe she's going to be on Jimmy Fallon, so that'll be cool to kind of see the clips of. I'm not going to watch it live because I'll be editing this episode, but all the same, with Taylor Swift and her new music, I feel like people have to just kind of take a step back and realize she is a pop girl. She is a pop girly that is making mainstream pop music now, and she said it's an album she's wanted to make for a long time. Her last album, Poets, it was deep, it was heavy, but that's because she was dealing with a lot while on the Eras tour. And this is a peek behind the curtains, and for people that don't think that the title lines up to what the songs are, I get that sense. Like, yeah, it's not so much the life of a showgirl, because she's not on stage, but if you were able to see any clips online about her talking about it, or maybe this is the first time you're hearing this, if you're a Swiftie, I'd imagine you would have heard this, though. It's a peek behind the curtain of what she was doing and dealing with, outside of the Eras tour. And knowing that, yes, it should have been a little bit more deep in different moments, but what she was doing behind the scenes of the Eras tour, at least after Poets, was falling in love with this man, with Travis Kelce, and dealing with this kind of lashback from, Charlie XCX, because I know that's what Actually Romantic is about. And whether it was warranted or not, she still did it. And, it was very apparent of this was the life she was living outside of the stage. It wasn't as dark and depressing, if you will, as Poets was, but that's also what Poets was. It was that behind the scenes of what she was dealing with while on the Eras tour. I can do it with a broken heart. And I know more people were expecting more songs like that. But if you listen to the track Honey, in the movie theater, she actually mentioned that was the first song she wrote and was the moment that she knew she was writing something different. And I think that's why she loves it so much, because she loves Travis so much, and that song was literally about him. So, I don't know. Take it as you will. Not everyone's going to love it. Not everyone's going to hate it. Some people are going to adore it. Other people are going to shit on it. And that's the thing with every single piece of art in history. No one's going to be happy 100% of the time, be it their fan base or the casual audience. I think this album is going to do very good commercially, as I said. Is it going to win many awards? Maybe. It is Taylor Swift after all, but it's not going to win some writing award or poetic justice or whatever the hell the poetry awards are, if that's even a thing. Lyricism awards. Which I do believe, just to throw 21 Pilots in it again, I believe they should win something like that, hello. Anyways, I'm not sure what people are going to fully think about it aside from what I've already seen, but those were kind of my thoughts on it, and I'll even finish by reading a little bit of the other notes I kind of randomly jotted, saying, I like Father Figure as the song is a vibe, but I hate the chorus. Eldest Daughter, for some reason, sounds like it could be a Bo Burnham song, and I don't know why I feel that way. It's a good song as well, but the chorus, again, is just lacking. Maybe they're generalized to TikTok trendiness, I don't know. Some of the words used, but the entire chorus, I should specify. It also had heavy Innocent vibes, like the song Innocent. That song is very deep if you look into the verses, but the chorus it's again just not there, especially as a track 5, that being a really important thing for Taylor Swift fans. Track 5's always something that's one of the heavy ones, which Should have probably been Ruin the Friendship, which ended up being track 6, but I digress. I really like Wishlist, but it sounds so familiar, like What Song Is It? Which all of the songs sounded familiar. They're all sampled like to hell. But Wishlist is one of the fun ones for sure. Still, some of the lyrics are just odd. Album sounds very good, but lyrics again, such a mixed bag of enjoyment and disappointment. More so to say, I like elements of each song, and there's elements of almost every song, aside from Elizabeth Taylor and Opalite, that I don't, to be honest. I don't really like Sabrina's voice at all, but one more listen after the theater, and I'll give it a review tier list proper. Here we go. And again, Sabrina's voice, not saying it's bad, it's just not my cup of tea. I think it's very old-timey sounding. And respect for her to getting all the popularity she's gotten, just not my favorite. But again, for every song here, I'll read these quick. The Fate of Ophelia. What an impressive music video. I can't believe what she was able to accomplish with it and how amazingly coherent it all was. Very meticulous as the mastermind she is, and it's to resemble how she was saved from that fate that Ophelia was given. Travis saved her and she made it into another love story based upon Shakespeare. Also, very cool to note that the album cover itself is actually a reference to the painting of Ophelia drowning, and at the end of the music video, it's a reference to the album cover itself. Loved it, and also the whole Eras Tour crew was involved and forever cemented in time with this music video. Also, Taylor's Bread made an appearance in the video. Enough said. Then, Elizabeth Taylor. It's one of her favorites of the album, and is about her life while making it in the charade of, well, Elizabeth Taylor's. Very vibey, I love the song, how everything is fated to fail, but she made it. Then Opalite, my god Opalite. My favorite track, what a good one, favorite for me on the album, and I love the meaning behind it even more. Opalite is man-made, if for those that don't know, and thus the song itself is about making and choosing your own path to whatever your own happiness is. Not letting it be devoured by an onyx black sky, making it turn into opalite because you did it. You have the power to do that. And that song has that meaning, and I adore it. I actually teared up when I really fully heard it, because it's like, holy fuck, this is what I was looking for. This is what I was looking for from Taylor Swift. The symbolism, the metaphors, the happiness, because it's a happy song, but it also has meaning. Very good. Top tier song on the album, in my opinion. Then Father Figure. It's a vibe, but I still don't care for the lyrics. I love the meaning behind the song and how she's able to fit both roles, but at least it's still my least favorite. Eldest Daughter. It's very good and is about being honest with yourself and taking down that visage of not caring when you actually do. It's a deep kind of pain that song holds, and I can see it being towards the top of my ranking, or at least middle, because, again, the chorus just isn't there. Ruin the Friendship is about not being able to just do rather than ask the what if for the rest of your life. Just do. Like how in high school it seemed everything was do or die and so drastic, when in reality, what would happen if you would have just gone and done it? And why even be left asking the question? Just go for it. Actually Romantic is about all the hate she gets and how flattering it is to be admired in such a way. To be a part of one's story without even knowing, it's very cocky but fun song. Wishlist is about romance, simply put, about how she hopes everybody gets all they want, but the chorus, that's what she wants. And it's also one of my favorites from this album. Says it makes her feel like flying amongst the clouds. Then Wood, Travis. That's all I have to say, and I guess overcoming superstition, but really, it's about Travis and his, well, wood. Cancelled. It's about how everyone nowadays seems to be cancelled, be it online or in person, for whatever they do, in which someone disagrees. To not judge one and let their actions prove who they are, and we're all cancelled one way or another. Honey, one of my top 3. This one is adorable, simple but lovely. Also the first song written for the album in which she knew it was going to be a different vibe. Written when she was falling in love and not denying it, obviously, and I think that's wonderful. Love the innocence in this song. The Life of a Showgirl, last track, title track itself, is about, well, showgirl life and how it isn't glamorous and is very hard, as the character Kitty says, but also her own life and how she'd have it no other way. Sabrina was also asked to sing on it, as Taylor believes her to have the perfect attitude to be a showgirl and how she is truly a showgirl. I thought originally they collabed on that from the get-go, but apparently not. Apparently it was asked later, and during their trip in Sweden, the Eras tour, that's when she recorded it. So very cool. Those were all the little notes I wrote down after seeing the theater thing. So just little tidbits of information for those that didn't get to go see it themselves. And as for my tier list of every track on the album, since that was every track in order, my number 1 favorite was Opalite. My number 2 was Elizabeth Taylor. Number 3, Honey. Number 4, Wishlist. Number 5, The Fate of Ophelia. Number 6, Ruin the Friendship. Number 7, Eldest Daughter. Number 8, The Life of the Showgirl. Number 9, Cancelled. And 10, 11, 12, I couldn't really pick on which ones I liked more because they are my least favorites of the album, so I just put them all at number 10 because just, put them at the bottom because they're all there for me. Was Actually Romantic, Wood, and Father Figure, tied for just bottom of the barrel. So that is my tier list. Nothing too crazy there, but I hope you guys enjoyed listening to all my rambles about Taylor Swift, her new album, about my Korn trip. And I think the only thing I want to end this podcast with is I would love to hear all your thoughts about, be it Korn, the Taylor Swift album, how we may be getting more Black Veil by the end of the year, the new song. I needed to point that out because even Chris, if you're listening, hello Chris, thanks for the support as always. Chris reminded me that we might actually, maybe, there's a possibility, we might be seeing some of the documentary by the end of the year as well. For the documentary, if anyone forgot, Who Cares About Black Veil Brides, you can watch the trailer for it on YouTube, their YouTube channel. Very excited for all of that Black Veil. I cannot wait. It's most certainly, I would have to say, going to be more deep just based on Hallelujah and Bleeders than what Taylor Swift's album was going to be, but I can't really compare the two. They are like comparing a fruit to, I don't know, a rock. Like they're very different things. I know it's both music, but it's just such a different genre, such a different artistry, and they're way different people. But I digress. Very excited for all of that. I would love to hear all your thoughts at Lights Monarch on all socials. Hit me up, let me know, and don't forget to check out my unboxing of the 21 Pilots Breach stuff. I opened up the FPE edition, and I didn't want to say that till the end because if you listen this far, go check it out. I appreciate the support already, and I would love even more of it. Again, thank you so much for listening, and thank you for discovering the music within. Oh, and also the Blue Jays are winning, and McDavid re-signed to the Oilers. Woo!